Yes, ma'am, start.
Good afternoon everyone. My name is Shruti Jain. I have done Masters in Interior Designing. I have total 8 years of experience in this field. Talking about my experience, first of all, I have taken 5 years of I have almost 5 years of experience in academic and 3 years of experience in corporate. Now, recently I was working with Raffles Millennium International, which is an international college in Pusa Road, Rajendra Place, and there I was teaching since 2 years. But now that college has been shut down, so I am supposedly to get enroll or get a good opportunity in a very good college. So I'm looking forward for a very good college. Before that, I was working with International Fashion Academy since 3 years. There, I was the HOD of the interior department. Plus, I was handling two centers together and handling all the documents and the students together. And before that, I was doing masters in interior designing. Actually, I have taken some different steps. Like I was doing diploma in 2 years from IFT, and during my diploma, I was also working as an interior designer with an architect. So I have total 3 years of experience with including my internship. So while doing my diploma, I was also working as an interior designer. So when I was passed out, I joined IFT as an interior faculty in Saharanpur, since I belong from Saharanpur, which is a small town in UP. So there I took classes as an interior faculty for 6 months. Then I took admission in Masters in Interior Designing from Florence Design Academy, Florence in 2011. And after coming back from Florence, I just joined IFT as an interior faculty. Now IFT has been changed to IFA, which is International Fashion Academy. Since IFT, talking about the changing, IFT, the director of IFT, which is Mr. Harish Arora, has 3 centers, one in Saharanpur and 2 in Delhi, and he then launched his own brand, which is International Fashion Academy. So I can just speak that I was working with IFT and then I was working with IFA. After that, for my growth and for my career growth, I wanted to take a step ahead, because I was working with an institute and I wanted to go to the college. So I took my one step forward and I joined Raffles. And recently I just joined GEMS, which is in Jagannath Institute of Medical Management Science in Rohini. So this was my whole experience and my talking about my experiences and my education qualifications. Okay, I always wanted to be, talking about myself, I always wanted to be in corporate world, but then I suddenly switched to the teaching world. Previously I thought that teaching world is not for me, but yes, now I can say yes, this world is for me, because I love teaching the students. I have the passion to teach the students. That's why since 5 years I'm teaching. I'm not going to go back into the corporate world. Yes, I am doing freelancing also, but teaching is my first passion, and I always wanted to be in teaching. So I like what I like in teaching is to explore the knowledge of the students. I update myself always. I used to update, I used to Google, I used to go to the market to do the market survey, and always wanted to update the students from the latest materials, latest technology or latest designing. So that's what I love in teaching. I love teach the students how to design the work, how to enhance their knowledge and everything. So that's what I love in this field. And it's not always about the knowledge. Somebody always told me that you are in teaching, that means your growth is, you have the limitation of the growth. No, I think it's not fair to say that, because every step I learn something. From the students also I learn something, because everybody has their own criteria of designing something. They have some other criteria of creativity. They have some other perception of creativity or to look something. So I always learn something from the students also. So that's what I love in this field.
So today you want to
talk about what?
Okay, today I am going to talk about architectural drafting, which is a very basic and the first step of the interiors. Okay, there is a subject called architectural drafting, basically interior design. When we talk about the interior designing,
Please take it full screen.
yeah. Okay, when we talk about interior designing, most of the people thought that interior designing, that means decorating the house, decorating the space. No, I feel that is not a good statement. Interior designing means designing or planning the space. How you plan a space in a comfortable way that the client or the customer, whosoever is going to live into that space or use that space should give a life feeling. It should be designed in such a way that it should be comfortable to everyone. Like if I'm talking about this area and I'm interior designer, I want to plan this area, then I have to plan in such a way that everything should be according to the ergonomics, according to the anthropometric detailings. Table designing, furniture designing, ceiling designing, your flooring designing, everything involved in interior designing. So interior decoration is not only the part of interior, it's not only the definition of interior designing, it's just a part of interior designing. So in interior designing involved everything. Now the first step is architectural drafting. Architectural drafting means to draft something. Now the drafting is, if you talk about the drafting, first of all, drafting means to draw something. In interiors or any other field, if you are in a fashion designing, also jewelry designing or any other designing field, you first of all convey your imagination or convey your thoughts according to the drawing. You need to draw something to convey your thoughts. So that's what comes in the drafting, how you convey your your imagination. So if I am talking about the drafting thing, drawing is an universal language. Drawing, if I want to convey, okay, this is the place, I want to create a table here, I want to place a table here, chair here, so I am conveying according to the drawing. This is the language which everybody can understand. So drawing is the most important tool which we need in every design field. Technical drawing used by the designers. So afterwards we will learn, I will talk to you about everything in detail. This is just an introduction. Technical drawings. Now, first of all, I am creating something with the drawing, with rough drawing. That is a normal drawing. But then comes the technical drawing also. Like what will be the measurement? How far this table will be from the wall? How far the table will be from the chair? So everything is technical. So that technical drawings come into your drafting part also. Like starting, you are learning just to draw something, and then you are learning according to the technical detailing, according to the dimensions and everything. So that comes in technical drawing. Then there are certain rules and standards. If you go in any field, which is a fashion designing field, jewelry designing, or the interior designing, or any other field, you have certain rules and regulations. You have certain standard dimensions also for everything. So that comes everything into the drafting. This is a very basic subject where the student actually learn a basic dimensions of everything when they are going to draft. Afterwards, with every semester, coming semester, they learn about detailed dimensions also. So we have some standard rules and regulations and standard dimensions also for our drafting. Pictorial images of building, interior details or other items that need to be built. Okay, when we are drafting something, basically planning or elevations, when we draft the plan and elevation, planning means the top view where we are going to plan the area. In that area we show everything, like the top view of the table or the chair or shelves or whatever the requirements they need, and whatever the furnitures we are going to place in that space. That comes, everything's top view is the plan, and then comes the elevation, which is the front elevation. Like suppose I'm standing here and I want to see this wall. This is my front elevation right now, and I can see everything, like what comes into the wall, on the wall, what will be the front elevation of this table and this is the side elevation of the chair, so we will be seeing the side elevation of the chair. So everything in the detailing, in the building, interiors, everything comes into the drafting part. Drawn to the scale, accurate measurements and detailed information. This is the standard rule that everything, whatever we are drafting, the technical drawings, everything should be accurate. It should be according to the scale. If it's not according to the scale, that means we will write down properly that is not to scale. So it's very important. If we are creating something, it should be according to the scale, and if we are creating something which is according to the scale, then we have to mention it which scale we are using, so that it is accurate for this labor, or it is properly, the information should be given to the labor properly, that this scale we are using, so they can easily work on it, work on the sites. Because if any drawing is not according to the scale, then that drawing is not applicable on the site. Drawing, whatever we are drawing, it includes site plan. Site plan means the plan, the area, the site we are going to create. So the site plan is important. Where will be the road? What is the north? Where is the north, south, east, and west? What is near the location? So everything comes into the site plan. Then comes the floor plan. Floor plan means everything, whatever that we are planning, all the detailings of the load-bearing walls or the non-load-bearing walls. Where will be your suppose I am creating a residential, then where will be the bedroom, will be your drawing room, or the lobby, or the kitchen area. So everything thing comes into the floor plan, plus the furniture, where you are placing your furniture. So sometimes we call it as a flooring layout also, sometimes we call it as a furniture layout also, but it all comes into the floor plan. Then comes the elevation. Now the elevation includes the whole building elevation, whole interior elevation, where you will be showing everything from the wall, from the ceiling to the flooring and the furnitures. So everything comes into the elevation, depends whatever you are planning. Sections. Now the sections, and it comes, it has two kinds of sections. Like sectional elevation means there are two kinds: sectional elevation, or the section of a furniture, or a flooring, or a ceiling. If I'm talking about sectional elevation, so there is a little bit difference between sectional elevation and the elevations. Elevations, in this you are showing just a wall, all the wall treatment, on all the elevations of a furnitures, whatever, if it's a front elevation or the side elevation. But in sectional elevation, you will be showing the ceiling, how much thick is the ceiling, the materials for the ceiling, flooring, how thick is the flooring, what material you are using for the flooring, same goes for the wall, and all the sectional detailing of the wall or the window, or if it's cutting from the wall or the door or the window. So there is a slight difference between the sectional elevation and elevations. Only the material difference, where you are actually showing the proper materials in this one. Then comes the ceiling plan. Okay, in the ceiling plan we have again the 2-3 varieties. Like ceiling plan, just you are showing what kind of ceiling you will be preparing. If it's a fall ceiling, how much fall will be there, what kind of suppose this is the ceiling, now everything is falling down, so you will be properly showing the ceiling plan with the, and you will show the dimension. Okay, my ceiling is this amount of ceiling is down from the ceiling level. But if I want reflected ceiling plan, in that I will be showing not only the ceiling plan, plus I will also show the lights I will be putting on the ceiling. So we have two different varieties: ceiling plan or reflective ceiling plan. Both comes into the ceiling plan variety. Then comes finishes schedule, in which you will be showing all the finishes you are using for that particular area. Wall treatment, or your flooring finish, your ceiling furnitures, every finish. So in this one, the proper schedule has been made, like what material you are using, how much quantity you are using. If you can go with the pricing also, and for which area you are using. So everything comes into the schedule. it's very important to show most of the information, so that it is very good for the labor or the person who is actually going to prepare or is going to create that area. So it's very important for them to give them most of the information we can give. Then comes the mechanical information, which includes electrical, plumbing, air conditioning and heating plans. Basically, electrical plan is very important, where we are going to show what kind of points we are using, where we are going to show those points, all the sockets, what kind of lighting we are using, because nowadays we can say that 90% sometimes your area is eliminated by the lighting or is designed by the lighting. So it's very important to see what kind of lighting we are going to use or what kind of fixtures we are going to use. So in the lighting plan or in the electrical layout, we can show what kind of lighting we are using on which area, plus the sockets, what kind of sockets you are using and at what height you are using those sockets. Then comes the plumbing. Okay, in the plumbing, if I talk about the plumbing, now this schedule this kind of layout we use for to show where we are going to use our pipelines, our drainage system or water system. So plumbing is very important in that case. Air conditioning, ducting system. Nowadays, if you see about the commercial areas, ducting system is something which is very important, because you cannot only show the split AC everywhere or the window AC everywhere. So we use centralized AC or we use packaged AC also. So for that we use duct systems. So where we are going to show the ducts, how those ducts are going to be used. So in this air conditioning or heating plants, we show them how you are going to use everything. So if we talk about the types of drafting, we have three criteria, which is technical sketch, mechanical drafting and computer aided drafting. These are your first step, second step and the third step. Technical sketch, which is a normal draft, which is a normal sketching, how you are going to sketch or how you are going to convey your first idea to the other. So I used to do the sketch. My first idea, what comes into my mind, I'm just drawing it. I'm just drafting it and my idea is conveyed to the others. So this initial or preliminary plans or the primary plans comes into the technical sketches. It's not always important to have the accurate. If your drawing is not very good, at least it should be proportionate, so that the person who is actually seeing those sketches should understand what you are going to convey or you are actually conveying. Talking about this, I want to share something that when I was working with an architect, what he used to do is he used to just draw something, now draft it on AutoCAD. So this primary sketches, he normally used to sketch, just normally draw like this is my area or this is my furniture, just draw it and now you can do it on the AutoCAD. So that means he was very good in the primary sketches. That primary sketches was very beneficial for me. So since he was conveying his own idea to me, and with those sketches I can understand, okay, this is what he wants and now I am going to draft it. So that's how the primary sketches are actually important. Okay, a technical sketch. That was my primary sketches. Now the primary sketches, after I go to the primary sketches like my normal sketching, we can do my technical sketches also, or I can do my primary sketches through the T-scales or mechanical aids. Mechanical aid means T-scale, set square and compass, which is important in our interiors. We use these instruments to draft something, to draw something. Now for the students, the primary sketches are these sketches, because on the sheet they used to draw the plan with these sketches. They are not going to use AutoCAD on the first step. They are going to use everything on the sheet work. They are going to prepare everything on the sheet work. So they use T-scale, set squares and compass to draw their primary sketches, but drawn to scale and contain a variety of line weights and line styles. Now if I talk about line weight and line style, if they are creating something like they are creating a plan or the elevation or anything, it's very important for the students to understand that line weight or line styles are important. Because if I am creating something and I want the object line, there is an object, the outer counter line, the outer lines of that object should be dark. It should be its line weight should be more than the other line weights of the other object. So it's very important to understand the students why we are using the line weights, where we are going to use the line weights. Like if I talk about the planning, in the planning also in AutoCAD also, we used to put our structural drawing or our outer walls line weight a little thicker than the inner furnitures or the inner detailing line weights. Line style. Now line style is also important because we have different line style. We have the continue line style also, we have breakdown also, we have center line also. Lines which shows that okay, this is the line which is used for the hidden object, this is the line we are using for the center object, this is the line we are using to show that object is going to continue or this flooring is going to continue. So we have different line weights also and different styles also, which shows different criteria of the object. Grid paper becomes the guide helping to keep the line straight. Okay, for the students who are just on the first semester, they use the grid papers because they in the grid paper we have the blocks, so they can easily imagine, okay, this block is for 1 feet, this block is for the 2 feet, and they can easily plan something. So it's very important to for them to understand the ergonomics also, that what kind of space we have and how much distance they want, how much space they require for the wall, between the wall and the table, between the furnitures and everything. So we need to ask them to draw everything onto the grid paper. So before planning or before drafting everything onto the sheet, they will understand according to the grid paper also how much distance is required or how much distance is left, so they can easily plan according to it. Sketches is a free drawing. It is not always, it's a free drawing because sometimes we have the they use the scales also, and like in perspective view we have different criteria of sketches also to show our ideas. We can draw 1 point perspective, 2 point perspectives, isometric drawings, isometric drawings. These are all the categories of the 3D drawings. So our sketches can be freehand sketches also, and it can be according to our tools also. Depend on the student or on the person who is whatever he or she is going to prepare. It should be comfortable to that person and it should convey that person idea to the others. Sketches on the graph paper to take advantage of the line square. This is what I was talking, that according to the grid paper, it's we can sketch very easily because there are the blocks. So according to the blocks we can easily sketch. So you can see in that way there is a planning of a residential planning. Here a person can easily make out how much box, okay, after counting the boxes the person can easily make out how much distance is left, how much, where to place the bedroom, where to place the washroom, how much space I want for the washroom, how much space I want for the bedroom. So everything is very clear. So that's what is required into the graph paper. Sketch on the plain paper with or without the aid of drawing instrument is this one. You can use the drawings, you can use this scale, or you can use without the scale. So sketching on the plain paper can show you this way. When you are one step ahead of the graph paper, you can use everything onto the plain paper. A technical sketches gives an idea that the design is still being developed. Okay, technical sketch is not always like it's not always like okay now my drawing is stopped. No, it's a developing process. Preliminary designing, what we call is preliminary designing. It's a process where you learn or where you draft something, and then sometimes it happens also after doing everything on the AutoCAD. Oh no, my sketch, I want this thing here. Okay, now I want this thing here. So we can continuously develop something afterwards also. After my second step also, I can develop anything on my first step also. So it's like a process going on again and again. It's not like that your designing has been stopped on the first step. Designing is always it's always a process of developing. It's always developed. So developing process by process. So technical sketch gives an idea that the design is still being developed. With the while a mechanically drafted or CAD implies an advanced state of planning and gives the impression the design has been finalized. After your CAD is done, then comes that your designing is actually done. When you are done with your AutoCAD, you are completed with your 3D Max or the SketchUp files or any other software using your 3Ds, you are actually done with your designing part. Then come the client part, that okay, the client has wants some changes or not. Then you draw it or change it into your preliminary sketches. Sometimes it happens on the site also. You are drawing something, you have planned something, and you have given that to, drawing to the labor. Now the labor draws everything, but there are some corrections like 1 inches or 2 inches. Sometimes there are some changes, that this wall is going to be diagonal, or this wall there is a plaster. So that time we have some changes into the drawing. So this those who are creating the drawing, like the draftmen who are creating the drawing, they have to create again the drawing. They have to change the drawing. So the developing process is always going on. Shop drawing, then they change the shop drawing. So final stage is the stage when everything is completely finished. Your site is finished. Then then the drawing, whatever the drawing you have, is your perfect drawing of that particular site.
Shruti,
Yeah.
I think we have understood what you are trying to communicate. If you can just quickly run through the slides, and then we'll have a little question answer.
Okay. Yes. There is a mechanical drawing in which everything you are using with proper dimensions. Everything should be properly cleared. It can be on the paper, or it can be like in the technical sketches we understand that okay, this is my drawing, but in mechanical everything should be with proper dimensions. Everything should be very accurate, like planning, elevations, sections, the basic structure of the space should be technical. It should be accurate. So this contains everything, every detailing part. These are the tools we use for the drafting. Architectural scales, which shows every scaling part. Then the pencils, set squares, compass, T-scale, or the portable drawing board, in which T-scale is already included in this one. Then comes the computer drafting, which is the final stage where the person, when its drawing is completed, they used to do that planning, elevations with proper measurements and everything onto AutoCAD and 3D Max. I mean, this is the AutoCAD where they used to plan. Here the revision is very easy, because if I want to change something, I can easily copy paste, or I can easily delete that line and can create a different line. Then we have certain amounts of paper also. Graph sheets, butter sheets, gateway sheet, which we use in our drafting. Standard sizes of papers, which students should understand, so that they can easily draw, or if they are taking out the layout, they taking out the printout, they should know that according to the paper how much scale they require for the drawing to understand, to read out. Then we in this architectural drafting, we also taught them about the lettering, because in the lettering everything should be properly mentioned. In the lettering, okay, one thing is very important, which is that according to the drawing, the lettering should be accurate. Sometimes it happens like the drawing is very small and the lettering is very big. Sometimes the lettering drawing is big and the lettering is small. So we need to teach the students that how much lettering is required for each drawing. And this is what I was talking about the line weight previously. That line weight, there are certain criteria of the line weight and how we are going to show the line weights. And then the line and qualities, in which we have the bold lines also, guided lines also, and everything, and the medium lines. That's it.
Now have understood about drafting, whatever it is, but you also talked about design.
Yeah.
So, what is the stage of design when you are doing drafting? I mean, it happens before, I mean, or if it is a design process. So, where does drafting falls in?
Drafting is the step when suppose I want to plan this area. This is and now for the planning, my rough sketching is my first step,
Okay, let's.
and the second step is my drafting.
No, let's start with the inspiration. I'm talking about design. There's no space. You're not thinking about a space which has been mentioned. You're just saying residential, and there's a piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
And whether if I want to make, I can make a bungalow. Whatever I can make. You have given the freedom to the students. So how do you inspire them or tell them to take inspiration and start from there? And it has to have a different concept. It cannot be a duple box style duple,
Yes.
because we are talking about design.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you
when
start?
we talk about the designing and or I'm giving them the plot size. Okay, this is a plot. Now you have to create something. First of all, students have to create a concept. They have to first go for the first they have to decide the client. Who is your client? They have to create the client profile and everything. What will be who is the client? What are the client requirements? What are the tastes of the client? Because they have to create something. So first they have to do the research on the client. They have to select the client. Then they have to select the inspiration, or you can say about the concept. That what kind of concept they required for that particular area. What will be their inspiration? They have to, with that inspiration, they have to create a concept board. In this, that board actually shows that what kind of concept they are using. Like
So
first
can you
of
take
all,
an example and explain?
I'll give you the example of my students. I gave them an exhibition area. That okay, now here this is the area. Now you have to create an exhibition
Exhibition of
of any architect. They have to give the tribute to the architect and display the architect's work.
okay.
So what they were using, they have taken the inspiration from the not the inspiration. They take the client as an architect. So they have to first research on that architect's work and everything. Then comes their concept. So what they have done, they first study about the client and they know, okay, this client is using this kind of materials. That can be their inspiration, or some students have used curves or the lines or illusion as an inspiration. So that curves, lines and illusion comes into the concept board, which shows that this, whenever I am stepping into that area, I will be seeing some curves and illusion part, which gives a concept. Then comes the mood board. Mood board involves the textures, materials, like whenever I am entering into that place, what kind of mood I will be seeing, what kind of material I will be seeing. So like when I am entering here, I can see there are some brown color series. So we have certain criteria about the mood board. So they first decide what kind of mood they are going to show into that particular area. Then comes the primary sketches. Then comes the planning. Okay, now how they are going to plan the area. That comes into the normal drafting part. Normal drafting, which is the normal sketching, in which they will see, okay, now I am creating this area like this area like that. So that all comes into the drafting. But not the technical draft, it is a primary draft, which is the rough sketches. When they are done with everything, like all those rough sketches, like this is my planning, then they comes on the AutoCAD. Sometimes they just normally sketch everything and go to the AutoCAD and create the planning. Then side by side they understand, okay, this is the area, now what kind of furnitures I am going to use. They show, okay, this is my wall, now how I am going to treat that wall. That everything is according to their concept. Whatever the concept they are using, like illusion and curves or the lines, whatever their concept is, they use according to that concept. They treat their walls according to their concept. They do this planning according to their concept.
So you're talking about the technical sketches are the concept sketches.
Yeah.
After the concept sketches, we can start with the layout plans and all that.
After your concept board, you can start working on your planning, because if you are not done with your planning or the roughly layout of your planning, you can never go to the next step, where how you are going to treat your walls, or how you are going to show your furnitures, or what kind of furnitures, or how you are going, because everything involves with the concept board. Like if your concept board is first of all is decided, then only you will plan something. And then if your planning is not coming properly, then you research more and more into that work. So everything involves a concept board and your mood board while planning and doing your work.
Can you go to your third or the fourth slide, please? The first third. Okay, I think that is where I wanted to ask. You were saying technical sketches. You've written technical sketches, but here you are, I think, talking about the basic drawings.
Basic drawing, the concept sketches.
So how are they different from the technical sketches? My understanding of technical sketches is they are very technically correct, whereas these are not technically correct.
Yes,
these
ma'am.
are just rough drawings.
Ma'am, there is a difference. The one I was talking about, the technical, that is technical drafting, and this is technical sketches. Technical drafting is something in which everything involves your T-scale, set square, everything should be properly accurate with properly dimensions. And in technical sketches, if you are not doing roughly sketches, you are using scale also, it should be proportionate. It should be proportionate.
No, but I fail to understand here is that if a student, this might be at a very high level of a person who has a lot of experience.
Yes, ma'am.
But a student of maybe third semester would not be able to even do a technical sketch because he is not exposed to the environment. He would not know what is an arch, what can be a duplicate, what can be, unless and until he is exposed to everything and anything that is possible in terms of interiors. So how do you think, what level a student of third semester would be able to, as per you, do a technical sketch?
Ma'am, this slide is not like for the students who are doing just first semester, second semester, third semester. This is the basic introduction to the students to understand that this is also a thing. Like technical sketches is something, if you are not very good into the rough sketches or something, or you cannot do everything roughly, you can do it technical sketching also afterwards. Because every time in the 4-year process or the 3-year process, student can understand and learn about this thing and how to do the technical sketches.
But you're talking about that first we do the technical sketch, then only we
Yeah.
can go for the planning. But what I can see that this is an alley, or what is the gallery. If I don't have the plan.
Area also,
Area.
yeah. If you
So,
are not
if
defined the
I-
area, how would you able to draw this? Because see, if I'm telling you to a piece of land and now you do a residential, okay, so then it is easy to whichever way they want to go ahead. But here I can see that this is a building where you're talking about a gallery, okay, so you have to have an area. So the moment the area has come, so you're restricted to work into that area, so there is nothing called as a drawing which would happen.
Yes, ma'am. That depends upon the area. If you are using the plot area, suppose I am giving just a plot area,
Yeah.
then you have to just give the preliminary sketches, which is the just rough sketches, that my area should be like this. It should not just a 3D sketches or something. Preliminary sketches involve planning sketches also, rough planning sketches also, or a normal, okay, this area, I want this area to be like this, so I will plan that area according to that space. Sometimes students take inspiration from Google that my area should look like this. So what they do the planning according to that sketch. They create
But in
the
the whole
area according
slide-
to that sketch.
In the whole slide, Shruti, you have not talked about technical drafting anywhere.
Oh, that was the other.
That was mechanical drawing or sketch, I think. Drafting, yes. It is not technical. Where is the technical word gone?
Let me see. Okay. Yes.
See, the technical sketch is only developed when you actually,
I think technical sketch should be technical drafting. That is what should be the correction. Or mechanical oblique technical drafting should be the word.
It should be mechanical oblique technical draft.
And technical sketch
Sketches
is
is
just basic
a
drawing or
basic
conceptual
drawing.
drawing.
It's a basic structure. Ma'am, sometimes it also happens like my friend is working within a company which is SMCC. He told me that sometimes in the meeting also when they used to do the concept or they used to brainstorm each other, then one person is standing here and they want he's saying that I want this area like this. He's explaining, and there is a person who actually create everything according to that.
Understood, but that person is on a very
Yes, ma'am.
experienced level.
So it depends on every criteria, ma'am. If the student is creating, they are just going to use the rough sketches. Of course, they are going to use the rough sketches. Sometimes students after the 4 years also they cannot do the technical or the mechanical
But I
work.
don't agree that actually once we have done the space allocation, we have blocked the space in our plan. After that, we can do the concept sketches. Not
Also,
before.
yes.
Not
We can do the concept because the process is going on every time. Concept development is different when we are developing what kind of concept you are using. Like I am using abstract, it's my concept.
See, I can understand what you are saying because I've been in this field for past 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever. But a student who is just
Yeah, as a
a
fresher.
6-month-old student, suppose if I ask him or her, please make a concept sketch or something like that, वो सीधे सीधे बोलेगा, I cannot do it, I don't know how to do it. Rather than if I ask him or her that please prepare a mood board using a lot of pictures, cutouts and all that.
Ma'am, that's
And
what they
after
use.
that, you come up with a plan. And once the plan is done, okay, come up with your sketches. And that is the right process.
Yes, ma'am. You are right. Again, you are right. Well, in the concept board, we actually give them the liberty to put the images, because then they try to create their drawing. So, if they don't have the inspiration, they cannot create the drawing. So, first they pictures, because the first semester, second semester, or the third semester students never used to draw everything according to themselves. They definitely go to the Google and they sketch something. So they have the inspiration from the Google. So that comes into the concept board, whatever they want it, and then they sketches. Sometimes it happens like in the planning also. Okay, after the planning they do the concept boards also, that like concept sketches also, that's up to them. But sometimes some spaces students feel, okay, I want the space according to like this only. So they have their concept sketch previously and then they plan according to that sketch also. So it happens side by side. Sometimes they create concept afterwards, sometimes they create concept sketches before their planning.
Shruti, from your resume, I understand that you've done your master's in interior design.
Yes, ma'am.
From Florence.
Yes,
Was it
ma'am.
a 1 year or a 2 year?
1 year. When the masters is for 1 year.
1 year. And if I can know your core subjects, please.
From masters, ma'am?
No, the core subjects that you can take.
Okay, core subject, ma'am. Every subject I can take in interiors except estimation and
I am looking
costing.
for specialized. I mean,
Designing, furniture designing, design studio, furniture designing,
yeah.
and principle in design theory, which is which comes into the color theory also. Elements
And
all the history subjects.
but core is 1 or 2. I mean, you have given.
Yeah, actually, ma'am, since 5 or 6 years I'm teaching this, so I'm actually comfortable with every subject.
No,
with
I'm
proper-
not looking for
with
comfortable.
properly.
I mean, which you enjoy and you can deliver more than 100%.
These are all the subjects.
Okay, and what about softwares?
AutoCAD, 3D Max. I know SketchUp and Revit also, but yes, AutoCAD and 3D Max is something which I
Also,
love to teach.
would you like to be a full-time or a part-time?
Full time is my first preference.
And are you working?
Gyms, Rohini.
So you have to have a notice period or you can join immediately?
I can join immediately, but after I want at least 1 week time. Like March starting I can join.